Hello, welcome to City of Heroes. So this is City of Heroes Homecoming. I've been playing this for about a year now, and a little bit of backstory. I actually started playing City of Heroes live, maybe back in 2004, 5, 6 time frame, when I was about 9, 10, or 11. My mom actually got me into the game, and when I was playing it then, I loved it. It was a great game. I enjoyed making tons of different heroes, playing with my friend in middle school, and getting at least one character up to level 50, Quantum Striker, which is the name of the channel here. So I played for a while. Then in high school, I stopped playing for a little bit, and then when I wanted to get back into the game, I saw that the servers were unfortunately shut down, and I thought that was the end of City of Heroes. And then all these years later, now, I was at work, and a coworker of mine mentioned City of Heroes and that the game was back. So I quickly jumped on to the internet, downloaded it, and here I am. So like I said, I've been playing for about a year now. I recreated my character, Quantum Striker, got him up to level 50 and another character up to level 50. But I realized in my play style, I've made a couple other characters that are across different levels, that I have one specific character that is my main now, whose name is Armas, that I'm going to actually recreate here. Unfortunately, I'm on the Everlasting server. I typically play on the Excelsior, but on the Everlasting for this character. And I'm going to actually name him Armas for this one, which means weapon in Tagalog. And yeah, this will be a walkthrough of really all the different story arcs, and primarily since I've been playing and just really looking into a lot of the different content of City of Heroes, the Discord, the Reddit page, and some YouTube videos, I saw a pretty good idea that to record yourself playing, and then from there you can have a repository of films to look back on and watch just in case City of Heroes goes dark one more time. But this walkthrough, I would like to try to get all these story arcs, because at least with my 2 level 50s that I have so far and some of my other characters, I didn't really actually truly understand the story arcs. I was just doing missions trying to level up as fast as possible to get to 50, and then do some of the incarnate stuff afterwards. But like I said, as I started learning a little bit more about the game that I didn't know from live, I realized that there are a ton of different story arcs. So this will be me trying to just go through as many story arcs as possible. I got a list of all the story arcs now. I did a lot of research to find all 145. Those also include the Peacebringer and Warshade. However, story arcs, and we'll go through it. And like I said, I've been following a typical story path with my main character now, Arnis, that I found through a Discord link through the Homecoming, I think, community servers. Someone made a very good, I'll probably link it in this video, post on a good typical story arc to follow, or story arcs to follow all the way to 50. So I'll pretty much be doing something similar to that up to at least level 25 with this character, and then I'll jump over to back to Arnis on the Excelsior server, and then finish off to 50 with that character. So that character is a brute dual blades electricity, and so this one I would like to try to do a different power set, and we'll kind of walk through the character creation on here. So once you get to your character creation, you'll get to these two options here, Prime Earth or Praetorian Earth. So this Primal Earth right here is typically actually the only one I've ever done. I've heard different stories about their Praetorian, where you get to pick a side as resistant or loyalist and go through that as well. And then you leave this area to go back to Paragon City at 20 as a hero or a villain. So maybe one of these days I will do that. I have a couple different other character ideas that I think I'll save for this one. Maybe a Warshade or something. But for this one, we'll stick with Primal Earth here. And then here you have the different origins of your power sets. These don't really matter a whole lot. I like to just think of it as the lore behind your character. And it'll have something to do with a initial power that you'll get. That's the same damage across all the different origin types, and then how you get some of your enhancements at some point. But like I said, all the same, doesn't really matter a whole lot. It just fits the lore of your character. And for Armas, my character here, will be magic. So then we'll go here to the next, and then play style. Like I said, so this time I wanted to do, my original character, Arnis, is a brute, so we'll be in the melee. But you have a couple different options if you want to be a tank. Your melee damage, different range. My Quantum Striker character is a range blaster. Crowd control, you can have some different pets as well, and then your support and healing. But there's some other couple ones that I want to try someday in the future as I continue to play this game more. But for this character in this walkthrough, I'll do melee. And then we'll go ahead, and this is really what I want to get to. So you have your brute, which is, like I said, my other character. As they continue to stay in the fight more and more, they build up this, like, I don't want to say like battle damage almost, and it just increases your chances to hit. It's actually pretty good. I wanted to try it. I think during live you can only be a brute for City of Villains, but now you can pretty much be anything, as you can see here: Arachno Soldier, Arachno's Widow. But for this character, I'm gonna go Scrapper for this one. We'll go next, and what I'm looking for here, so you can see you got your primary and secondary powers, a ton of different options on how you want to play for Scrapper and really all the different types of power sets. But for this character, Armas, we are looking at staff fighting. So getting into staff fighting, doing some research, I think if I remember correctly, what I wanted to do was precise strikes, because I think it has a chance of disorient. Yes, I want some sort of control measure, and if I can get a chance to disorient or stun my foes, that will help with some of the crowd control. And I'll do some more research as we go along, and maybe do like a Midge Reborn type look to see what powers I want to go through as I continue. But for now, we'll start with this. And then similar to my other character, I want to stick with electric armor just because I think it looks cool. And I think we'll start off this one with our charged armor, which I can see there at the bottom makes you highly resistant to smashing and lethal, which is a large portion of the power sets for the enemies that you'll come across. We'll eventually get the lightning field to do a little bit of damage as well, but we'll start right now with charged armor as we get through these first couple levels here. Okay, this is the most important part here when you get to actually how you want your character's body and then costume to look as well. Of note here, you have a couple different styles here, how you want your character to be: male, female, or huge. And then some of the different styles: slim, average, athletic, or heavy. And you can kind of move the different toggles here on what you want your character to look like. However, I think here, if I remember correctly, this is the only chance you get to actually truly adjust the height of your character. You can mess with some of the other scales later on in the costume designs when you're at higher levels to go to icon, or if you just want to change your costume. But I think height right here is the only chance you get to actually make it the size. Your legs can actually make it a little bit taller, but not by much, as you can see there, like maybe a total of, 4 or 5 inches maybe. But we'll just stick with that because I have a costume that's already saved, but I'll show you the costume. So as you can see here, this is not the one that's saved. It has different costume sets here that you can click through. But I'll click clear, and I already have a couple costumes that I have saved, so I'll just go ahead and load that so we don't have to go through the whole process of making a costume. But there are a ton of different options for the costumes, tons of different YouTube videos and Discord channels about some pretty cool costumes that people have out there. But as you can see, there's just a bunch of different options when it comes to what you may want here for your costumes. But we'll go ahead and load up the costume I'm looking for, and it's just a copy of Arnis's costume, and heck next, and there it is. So this is Arnis, aka now Armas, on this server here. So first things first, we gotta do our weapons though. So we have our long staff, and for this one you can already see already that aura's done. So I'll go ahead and change this to I like the studded one, was it? And I think the color's already the same, but I'll change this one just to a little bit more silver. To indicate metal, I'll change this one. I'll keep it dark gray. I like that. Yeah, we'll do that. And then it should be the same when it's sheathed, or on his back at least. We'll change that to studded. And it should be all the same colors. So yeah, we'll keep that on his back as he's running. We already got the Armas, so electricity, because he's electric power. And when in combat, sort of hands and fist. So yeah, we'll keep that the same. Cool. Alright, so now for powers, I think we'll go to bright, and I should have saved this as well. You can save these. I should have done that before. But we'll go ahead and just change these real quick, and we'll keep it just the same across the board for his powers here. We'll keep it blue and blue probably, just to match the color set. Doesn't really matter too much for these ones. So we'll do here, we can match color across all the power sets, and that would just be for these primary powers. And then you can change it for your secondary. But if you just do across all power sets, it'll do for both here. So let's just make sure. Some of these powers have different, options too. So I just like to see what options we have here. Some of these look so cool. Look at that. It's a breakdancing. I think the staff mastery should be the same. Form of body would be the same. No changes there. I think you can choose some of these. I gotta once again do a little bit more research. I think this one looks really cool. Okay, cool. So really, this is what really matters. We'll do color, or excuse me, bright and charge. I want to make sure the electricity is similar to the aura, which it looks like it should be there. Yeah, look at that. It's gonna be cool. So that'll be the lightning field, like does a little bit of damage. Maybe I can make it a little bit darker. And then this one, we'll make this a little bit darker. Yeah, maybe we'll do that, I think. Yeah, we'll do that. Power surge, so when he turns to nothing but electricity. Okay, yeah, I think that's gonna look good. I don't want to spend too much time here, because I want to do the tutorial. I'm trying to only make these videos about 30 to 40 minutes at the most. So I think that'll do it for the character here. Okay, cool. Yeah. And like I said, you can always change the colors for some of the different costumes. If I don't like it, I can keep the same costume and just change the power colors. Awesome. So let's go next here. We'll just keep it Armas, but you can change it to the... So yeah, here we go. We got our Magic Scrapper. We got our new powers, 0 XP so far. And it doesn't have our influence, but... So like I said, I'm going to try to do a typical walkthrough with this one in terms of the story arcs and try to do as many story arcs as possible. I have a pretty good list of all the story arcs to get started with, and I want this to be as vanilla of a playthrough as possible. So what I'll do here on some of the levels, I'll try to save the certain powers to those levels, like my travel powers. I'll wait until 6 and then 14 to get those. And try not to game the game a little bit too much, because there's tons of different playstyles for City of Heroes. There's no one correct way to play the game, which is what I really like about this game. So I think, though, what I'll try to do is keep it as vanilla as possible. Try to gain experience as simple as possible, maybe going to the auction house here and there to try to build up a good amount of influence there so I can get single origin enhancements at some point when we get to our certain levels. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I have a character description already saved for this character, so I'll go ahead and just paste that in, and I'll go ahead and read that. So this is the background for our character Armas. Okay, so Tai dedicated his life to special tactics operations, serving alongside his wife Rain. After their military service, they sought peace in Baguio, Philippines, where they raised their children, Jay and Kaya. Embracing Rain's heritage, Tai trained in Arnis, mastering its style as both an art and a way of life. But peace was short-lived. On one final mission, disrupting an Arachno supply chain, feeding terrorists, sealed their fate. Seeking revenge, the Arachnos onslaught struck like a vengeful storm, claiming Rain, Jay, and Kaya in its fury. Tai was left barely clinging to life. Left broken, he wandered the mountain in grief, where he was found by a Diwata, a mystical guardian spirit. Seeing his pain, she gifted him with the storm, infusing his body with lightning's power and binding it to his Arnis staff. Now in Paragon City, he fights as, not Tai, but he fights as Armas. The storm that never rests, the force that never breaks until justice is done. Awesome. There's his background, special operations. His wife and kids were killed by Arachnos. Arachnos will be his arch enemy as he goes through this story. So any missions that we see there, we'll have a good time with that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get through. So what we want to do, like I said, a basic vanilla. You have the option to not do the tutorial, but we will do the tutorial here. We'll go ahead and do that. And you have a couple different options. We're going to be a hero, so we'll go to Outbreak. But as you can see here, heroes go to Outbreak. They'll contain a disease that's been going on in a small section of Paragon City. If you play City of Villains, which maybe I'll make another villain. I have one right now. It's only at level 6. Maybe I'll just recreate it. You'll do the Breakout. And Galaxy City, actually, which was one of the zones in Live, is no longer. Was destroyed by a Shivan meteor attack, and you actually can go through and heal or save some of the survivors. And I'll probably do that through a walkthrough with one of my other characters that I want to make, a martial arts scrapper. But for now, we'll do Outbreak. We'll complete this character creation and enter the game, and we'll do the tutorial here. Outbreak tutorial. All right. Okay, got a badge. Let's see what badge. Oh, 2 badges. Look at that. Let's see what we got here. So, pursuer villains have escaped from the Big Zig, and you have to take it upon yourself to track them down. All right, and VIP. All right, cool. So we'll try to collect as many badges as possible. So maybe in the next video, I'll kind of show you how I like to set most things up here. But this is typically, it looks like it's already saved. I must have saved it as across all characters. But I like to have my different chats, and I'll kind of switch these up as well. I probably should have saved those as a default, or have some combat to show you your rolls and your percentage to hit and damage that you take, global and your typical chat. But I'll change all that here later. Won't be doing much chatting right now as we play. I'll keep my targets up here. My map and compass will keep up there. And yeah, I like to have my map on the right-hand side here. And then I'll kind of divvy out some of my powers. I like to have my secondary powers on the second slot, and then like my primary striking powers here, and then got my ranged attack here. So we're going to keep that there for now, and then travel powers and some other powers like rest, which is probably right here actually. Oh, we don't get it yet. I wonder where you get it. I'll probably put it right here in this 4th one. But for now, this will be, let's keep it like this. I'll actually go ahead and just get rid of this for now, because we don't really need this. We won't need that for a while. I can just put these right here for the time being. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. So yeah, this is Outbreak. This is where you first arrive when playing City of Heroes. You have a start vendor here. This is when you will watch some people speed run through this and get a whole bunch of double XP and some extra powers that are all for free, honestly, at the start vendor. But we're doing a vanilla, so we're going to start bare bones and go to our first contact here, Officer Flint. And it's cool, you can see up here on the compass, it'll show you where your contact is with the contact logo. The yellow arrow will show you how far away. So let's go ahead and turn on sprint. I'm not a big fan of athletic run, so I'll remove that from the tray. That's just me. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So Officer Flint, talk to him. All right, Officer Flint, we have a crisis going on here. We need help desperately. Some thugs took an experimental drug thinking it was something else, and now they're trashing the area. We have to regain control to ensure the safety of the citizens. All right, then we'll ask about available missions. Okay, we need an antidote for these berserk thugs. I've collected this blood sample. Please take it to Dr. Miller. He's marked on your map and compass, like I just talked about. And the navigation window is at the top center of your screen. I'll keep it there. Some people like to put it at the bottom, but I'll keep it right there. You have been issued a clue. You can learn more about the clues by clicking the clues in the button in your nav window. All right, yeah, so we'll go ahead and accept this task. We got a clue. Dr. Miller's just down the street. Give him the sample and see if he has anything further for you. We have a crisis going on here, and we need help desperately. Some of the thugs took an experimental drug. Okay, that's the same thing. Cool, so we'll leave. We'll get a clue. I want to try to check all my clues as well as I do these story arcs. So we got a blood sample that must be delivered to Dr. Miller. This blood sample is a clue. You'll often receive clues during a mission. Clues help tell the story of the mission, but can also help direct you if you are uncertain of what to do next. Perfect, yeah, so I usually don't really look at the clues, but I think during this run through, I'll try to look at these as much as possible. All right, So we got a mission here, and double check to see if you have a list of missions. You can just click on here. Since this is our only one, we can also click select task, and that'll make it red. So that means that is our mission that we have to do. And yeah, we'll go on and get ready. All right, Dr. Miller. All right, Dr. Miller. Thank you. This sample will help our research immensely. Since you are new to Paragon City, you should familiarize yourself with the way hospitals work here. There's an information terminal in front of the medical center. All right, leave. So yeah, these are information centers. They're all throughout the city. You can click on them, it'll give you some more information. So we'll click on this one. This is the medical one. So the Medicom is the state-of-the-art analysis and healing device. It will analyze the current medical status of a friendly target and teleport them to the nearest hospital upon defeat. Oh yeah, so if you die, you'll get sent to the hospital. If you click hospital. All right, cool. That's pretty much what that's telling us. All right, we'll go back to Officer Flint. I'm sorry if I'm going through this too fast. Like I said, I don't want to have this be too long of a video, but yeah, this tutorial is also pretty cool. I always like doing it when first making your characters, and you can skip it now, but I always like to try to do it at least. All right, excellent job. What did you call yourself? Was it Armas? That's correct. That's pretty original. You seem to navigate well, so let me tell you about the map. Click the map button to bring up the map overhead. I already have that up. All right, cool. We'll be introduced to a new contact, and we'll go to Officer Parks. All right, use our compass to find Officer Parks. Cool. We'll now receive tasks from Officer Parks. Thanks, Officer Flint. Appreciate it. So go. You know, sometimes I'll mix between like using my mouse to, if I'm running in a straight line, just use my mouse to turn, but I typically use the key for that, and sometimes like the side run. I think once I get my super jump, I'll use my mouse primarily just to be a little bit more accurate with it, but we won't get that until level 14. All right, Officer Parks, what we got here? You must be Armas. I sure hope you can help. I can help. First, let me explain how to use your powers. Your powers traits located at the bottom of the screen contains an icon for each of your powers. Yep. Left click to use the power. Right click to learn about the power. You can use your power tab to add new powers, which I was trying to do with the rest, but that's okay. All right, ask about available missions. All right, things are getting out of control. I can tell you need to learn a lot about the combat, Armas. First, I want you to learn about how tough things can be by talking to Professor Hoffman in front of the deactivated robots right in front of me. And then talk to Lieutenant McReady for your combat lessons. Then I want you to come back and talk to me. Cool. All right, let's talk to Professor Hoffman first. He's standing right there. All right. All right, Professor Hoffman, what do you got for me? Okay, yeah, Professor Hoffman is pretty much going to just tell us about the different enemy levels. So gray, vastly lower levels, I think about three and below levels. Green's 2 levels below you, 1 is 1 level below you. White is equal level. Yellow is 1 above. Orange 2 above, red 3 above, and then purple is 4 above. It also talks a little bit about some of the different levels. So as you can see here, this is a pretty good example. So if your minions are your level, they'll be white. But if you have a lieutenant that's also your level, so let's say level 1, like I am, they'll be 1 level above you, so yellow. And your bosses, your level 1 bosses, are technically 2 levels above you, so it'll be orange. And then elite bosses, arch-villains, red, purple, respectively. Cool. All right, let's go to Lieutenant McReady. So he's over here. All right, McReady. So you're our niece, our Armas, see, I said our niece because my character. So you're Armas, eh? Well, I've been told you need to learn a thing or two about combat. First off, you need to target the enemy you want to attack by clicking them with your left mouse button or using the tab key, which I typically do. And there's some key binds I actually learned about recently that I'll have to do and then walk you guys through that at some point. Once you have your enemy targeted, you can attack by simply clicking the power on your tray or hitting the appropriate key number. Yeah, I'm more of a click with the mouse. Maybe I'll try with my keypad, but yeah, I primarily click with my mouse. All right, yep. Once you click, the icon will go small and then grow larger when it's ready. Once the icon is normal size, you can use it again. All right, let's take some practice shots on these drones, like he said. All right, so we'll do tab. Here's one right here. And all right, first things first, let's get our charged armor. So we have some good defense here. Look at that. This looks so cool. I primarily like the electric power just because it looks cool. Helps a little bit with some endurance, but that's what I like the most about it. And you can get into some more info. Like I said, you can do, like he said, right-click to get more info. So you can kind of see right here, actually, toggle self. It resists dismantling lethal energy. So we can do some details. Let's see. So activation, It'll take about less than a second to activate, and once I click off of it, it'll take 2 seconds to come back. That's what that says right there. Put that back on. So we'll keep that perma though. Obviously 100% toggle. So it'll be always on myself, single target. And here we go. Here's the data. So it gives me a 26.25% resistance to smashing. And that's the same across the board, lethal and energy as well. So we can definitely up this with some enhancements that we'll get at some point. But yeah, for now, that's how you can, and we'll look at some of the different detailed info for some of our powers, like this one right here, actually. I wanted to look at that, because I said this had a chance to disorient. So damage, we got 13.53 damage. How long does it take to recharge? Ooh, 6 seconds. Kind of long, huh? So let's go ahead and test this out. We'll click that. Too far away. I don't hit that. Nice. 6 seconds. That's where we have our Apprentice Charm and our punch. I wonder if it has 100% chance for 2 stun. Okay, yeah, 20% chance. I don't know if we can actually up the percentage, honestly. I think we can only just change the stats of accuracy, recharge time, endurance cost, damage, but I don't think you can actually upgrade this at all, but no problem. All right, cool. So that looks cool. We did that. Let's talk back to parks. Let's get some missions now. Okay, Professor Hoppin told you how to consider targets by the colors, and Lieutenant McReady did show me how to use my powers in combat. All right, there's a riot going on. We need all the heroes to lend a hand. Now we need to take down 2 of the contaminated thugs in the hot zone southwest. Okay, so we'll leave here. Southwest, look at our compass up there. It's in this area, so let's go do that. So I'm not going to do it here, but there is a badge that I actually haven't done with any of my characters ever. And if you defeat 100 of these contaminated, you can actually get a badge for that. I won't spoil anything, but I'm not going to do it here. But nothing to worry about at this moment. All right, boom! Look at that. Do that. We'll do our practice brawl, and we'll go ahead and brawl. Look at that! I didn't know I did that with the staff. That's pretty cool. Look at that one more time. Nice. That's so funny. Okay, let's go ahead and get this then. Perfect. Got our 2. And I think for this one, because that takes such a long time to come back for now, and I'll get another power here in a little bit at level 2. But what you can do here is I'll hold control and click that. So that means it's perma on now. So as if I click on someone, I'll show you in the next fight, it'll automatically go on. And since I'm a melee scrapper, it'll always be close enough to get that. So at least start punching while I wait for my power to recharge. All right. You did it. Look at that XP. We got 1 bubble, a little bead. Ooh, bead and a half. And some change. Okay, great. You did pretty well back there. Let me explain about combat. So most attacks deal damage. The damage you take is represented by the hit points are up here at the top. You can also see how many hit points you have left by looking at my hit point bar. And you can see you have your endurance. So that's going to be key in as a scrapper is just watching this endurance. So as we play, we'll have to make sure we enhance properly to get our endurance mitigation going. Yep, if you end up with a 0, you'll face plant and get knocked out, and that's when it takes you back to the hospital, like we talked about earlier. All right, let's go learn about some inspirations with Sergeant Hicks. All right, thank you, Officer Parks. All right, we'll go down there. I think jumping helps a little bit. Yeah, and I think my travel power with this guy definitely will be super jump, like I mentioned earlier. It's probably one of my favorite ones. I think thematically, I like flying as well. It looks cool with some superheroes, but for this one, we'll do super jump with Armas. All right, Sergeant Hicks. Hey, Armas. When I was a hero, I learned a thing or two. When you defeat a foe, you may receive inspirations. If you're in your inspiration tray, which is, I actually don't have it up right now. Let's go ahead and get that up. Boom. I should probably just drop this for right now. We'll just keep it up. Get used to it. These can help you by giving hit points, endurance, improved attacks. They also do like improved damage, accuracy. My favorite are luck. Luck is the best one because it reduces the enemy's chance to hit you, which is always helpful. All right, let's see what little missions you have here. All right, you should give us 2. Use a damage and a healing one. Just click on them. It's your trade to use them. You can detach the window, which I won't here. I'll keep it there. That's how I like to play. All right, so yeah, these inspirations are when to defeat some more thugs, and don't forget to use those inspirations. Okay, so I'm not going to use it for this fight. I like to save it for maybe something a little bit more important in the future. But think of these as like little potions you can take to, increase damage is what this one does, and get your health back if you get low on it. So I won't use it for this fight. Going to be 4. So this is what I'm talking about. I'm going to try to do a hotkey because I hit tab and it just randomly clicks one, but I want the closest people. So like I have to cycle through. So there's a key bind, which I think is in menu. Menu options, key mapping. Yeah, and I think like somewhere in here. So like I said, I'll figure it out, and then on the next oh, target see, look, yeah, on the next one we'll figure out how to make that. Oh, control tab. I just want to do tab, honestly. Can I just do it here? Okay, here we go. Nearest enemy tab. Okay, here we go. I guess that was easy. All right, yeah, the nearest one, but look at that, it doesn't cycle to the next one. All right, yeah, we'll figure it out, and we'll do it next time. All right, here we go. We're gonna hit that, and then look, I already brawled. Now let's do that. Like I didn't even click on it. Do a brawl. We'll hit that. All right, boom. Yeah, the Wi-Fi I'm at a hotel actually. I'll be at a hotel for a while. The Wi-Fi sometimes isn't the best, but hey, there's only so much you can do. Look at that, see, like it's still cycling. Thinking that it's going, so it's kind of going through its thing. It's weird. There we go. Do our little ranged attack, boom. All right, let's go back to our contact. All right, Turner Hicks. Ooh, look at that. All right, good job on those thugs. As rewards, I'll give you something called an enhancement. You can do an enhancement to permanently improve your power. Click the enhancement tab in your power tray to see what we've collected. All right. So I'm going to go here, actually, and we're going to manage this right now, actually. So you click manage, and then you can actually drag and drop these into some of these different powers. And we'll do a lot of different enhancement talk as we go about, but let's see what we got here. So talisman, excuse me, of the initiate. So this is a damage. So what's cool about it, you can click on it, and it'll show you where exactly you can put it in your precision strike or your brawl, because it only does damage, and right now our charged armor does not do damage. So we'll just go ahead and drop that in there. So actually, like first, let's go here. So let's do show details here. So per strike. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. So we can see our average damage, our base damage was at 13.53. So this right here says it can give us an increase by 33%. So we'll go ahead and drop that in there. Yep, and we'll go ahead and turn that away so that it comes up. Yes. All right. Dang it, I keep on doing that. You can just hover over it. So now, oh my gosh, sorry everyone. So now you can see that my base value was a 13.53 there at the bottom. And now, with this enhancement, I have a value of 18.04, so I was at 33.3% increase. So pretty cool. So I should do a little bit more damage. So I might be able to one-shot these guys. All right, we'll go to the info, learn a little bit more about enhancements. But, yeah, so you can combine different enhancements as well as what this paragraph talks about. We also have what we call IOs, or invented origin, I'm pretty sure. Single origin, dual origin, inventions, yeah. Which we'll probably get up to, I think, level 10. Yeah, level 10, we can go to the university in Steel Canyon and make some of those. Cool. So yeah, we're going to do a lot of enhancement stuff as we'll try to get enough influence to purchase and build our enhancements as we level up. All right, ooh, all right. Now that you know a little bit about combining some of these enhancements, I'll give us another one. So let's go ahead and just do that real quick. So what I was accidentally doing, right, I kept on clicking on it. What we can do here is click to enhance, and it'll give us like a +1 here to get us level 2 now. Sweet. So now you can see we're at 35%. So we went from 13.53 to 18.27. Nice. So yeah, I might be able to one-shot these white cons, at least at this level, with this. Okay, now he's going to introduce us to Coyote, one of the coolest context in the game, just because of the story behind it. So we'll go to Coyote. We'll find Coyote. All right, so Coyote's going to give us a mission. But what's cool about Coyote here, we'll go ahead and get close. You can take a good look at him. Let's go back to inspirations. Is Coyote. So he was from what I've gathered in like just doing some research in some of the forums and videos I saw about this contact here. Coyote is actually based off a real person, one of the developers for the game back during live. And unfortunately, the developer passed away, and the remaining developers for the game wanted to honor him, so they created Coyote in his memory. And now he is permanently in the game where, well, like I said, you can skip the outbreak or the tutorial, but in live you could not skip. And every single hero would have to come and talk to Coyote as a good memory for him and the developer. So, really cool story behind that. All right, Coyote, it looks like you're learning some stuff. Armas, let's finish the job with one last task I'd like you to undertake. All right, yeah, what do you got for me? Okay, he's been digging in and found an abandoned office where the thugs were given what they thought was that common street drug. It's actually a Ricti mutation drug. As you know, the Ricti have been a constant nuisance to us since their failed invasion last year. Yes, we'll talk a little bit more about that maybe in the next video. I spoke with Dr. Miller, and he says that he can create a cure, but we need the original formula for the mutation drug. I believe the formula is on a computer in that office. So I want you to go in there, clear out any enemies you find, and find the formula on the computer. Another hero named Flower Knight has already made her way into the place. She's been in there a while, so she might be in a bit of trouble. Okay, we gotta save Flower Knight. If you rescue her, she can be able to help you clear the place out of contaminated thugs. Once you complete the mission, you can click exit mission button to immediately exit the mission without having to run back to the exit, which is huge because some of these maps, as we'll see, are pretty large. All right, let's accept the mission. All right, find the formula, defeat all thugs. All right, he's marked it on our map and a compass. Left click the door, find Flower Knight, defeat all the enemies, click on the compass to find the formula. All right. So we'll go ahead and just, for good practice, second task, that's the task we're going to do. And I do this now because we're, like I said, we're going to be doing a lot of different story arcs, so we'll have a whole bunch of missions, so we'll go ahead and just click that. And that'll be the one that we go, not too far away. So let's go. Look at this, you can see all the chats, people looking for groups, doing, oh wow, that's a good task force right there. So we'll do that. Close to level 50. Okay, so here he is, we're at the door. If I didn't select it, if it was still yellow, once you click on the door, it turns it red, like that is your mission now, but I already did that, so we'll left click, we'll enter in. And something to note, these missions, these are your little own, I guess I want to say microcosm, your own little world, your own little mission. So you'll see other players come in and out of some of these maybe, but this is specifically your mission, unless you're on a team, and then you'll have multiple people going with you. But, all right. Defeat any enemies around Flower Knight to rescue her, and click on the glowing computer to search through it. All right. All right, there's Flower Knight, and we got some thugs beating her up. So we'll go ahead and take them out. And we'll see how this works now. We're going to key that up. Boom. And we'll punch. And boom. There's one. Punch. We got our... hate to miss, do we? Oh, wow. 2 misses in a row. You know what's cool? We can go to combat as I just punch this guy. Should be fine. You can see that I missed. I had a 80% chance to... Oh, I hit. Let's see. I had missed... I had an 80% chance to hit, and I rolled an 83. Huh. All right. Dang, I missed again. All right. Let's go ahead and finish this. Boom. Critical. I'd like to see that. Oh, got a clue. Thank you for saving me, Armas. Those thugs just overpowered me. I'll help you clear out the rest of the contaminated thugs as a thanks. And we got a clue here. Let's see. All right, Flower Knight has joined. She's joined me on my mission to clear this place. So now you can see here on the map, Flower Knight. And what's cool about these maps now, they also tell us where at least the last item is. And you'll see that as we do some more missions. But we'll go follow our map here. We got some more thugs. So let's take them out together, Flower Knight. Boom. Look at that. And I hit. I was a little fast there, so I'll have her take these guys out. All right, here we have a glowy, the colloquial name for all the items that we have to click and select during missions. So we'll go ahead and beat this thug first. You know, I actually haven't stunned anyone yet with this. I really hope that is, because I was kind of wanting that as like a sort of damage control. But we'll see. All right, we'll let that load. Don't move when you click on this, or you'll interrupt. I got another clue. Let's see. Formula. This is the formula Dr. Miller needs to reverse the Ricti mutation drug. Awesome. Okay, but we're not done yet because we found the formula, but we still got to defeat all the thugs. So let's go Flower Knight. I think they're up there. Oh, yeah, here they are. So you hit one right here, and I'll go to this one. Flower Knight can finish that guy off, and I'll do this guy right here. Punch. Boom. Wow, one-shot that. Throw a little thing at him. I'll let Flower Knight finish it off with... I guess she doesn't want to. That's okay. Oh, she did. All right. And look at that. We leveled up. Perfect. Mission complete. Love a good level up because it gives you a bunch of different enhancements here. Escape, so if you're stunned or whatever, you won't be stunned. Or mez, really. Damage, good. Accuracy. The luck is awesome. You don't hit you, and then you're more... also... won't get hit with some stuff. Actually, what does this one do? This is the robust. Yes, damage resistance. Okay, resistance. Okay, yeah. Perfect. All right. So like I said, thank you, Flower Knight. Appreciate your help. And we'll go ahead and exit. These are nice because you don't have to run back to the beginning like he said. All right. And now that we're done with that, we've leveled up. We're level 2. So just for anyone in the future, like I said, I'm not going to do it now just for the sake of time. Oh no, like, okay, here's a good thing. Like, where do you go? Just go back to your contacts. We finished. Complete the task, returning contacts, so we'll do that. He's over here. This will be your last time to try to get that badge in the Outbreak level. So if you really wanted to get that and defeat 100, do that before you click on Coyote and talk to him, but we're not going to do that right now. So we'll go ahead and click on Coyote here to talk to him. All right, I see you have enough experience points to reach level 2. Notice the arrow in your status circle, which means when you go to a trainer to train up, visit a signature hero to raise your security level. All right, thank you, Coyote. Such a cool contact, great story. That's what I love about this game. It's been a pleasure. All right, and that was Outbreaks. Now we'll click Visit Miss Liberty in Atlas Park to go level up and begin the journey. All right, Atlas Park. So back in live, there was options to go to Atlas Park or Galaxy City. But as you saw earlier, Galaxy City has been destroyed. So now everyone goes to Atlas Park. All right, if you have enough experience to level up to level 2, go see Miss Liberty near the Statue of Atlas to level up and pick your new power. All right, so this is like a little welcome here, which is always nice. So this character is new, may need help in City of Heroes. So you can do a couple different things to add to your name. You can do a help me, so people can, you know, ask you to, or will maybe want to join teams with you to help you out. Helper, you can help people, or role player. I want to be more of a role player, I think, with this character, which is why I'm on this server of Everlasting. This is like the de facto role-playing one, but I want to do that just because I'm Armas, and I'm on a spree to avenge my family and bring justice to Paragon City. This guy's pretty cool looking. Look at that. Awesome. All right. Yep. So here we are. We're at Miss Liberty. She has a pretty cool backstory too. She's the granddaughter, actually, of Statesman, who is the main hero of City of Heroes, right? Like Captain America. So the granddaughter of Statesman. Hey there, Armas. Okay. So what we'll do is train to a new power level. What you can do here as well is customize your appearance. If you wanted to change with her, you need some influence for that, which we don't have any. And also, this will probably tell you what I just said. Yep. She's the daughter of the original Miss Liberty, so Ms. Liberty, from the Golden Age, who is this Miss Liberty is the daughter of the Statesman, which actually doesn't say that here. But, all right. Leave and talk about all this going on, actually. Train up to a new power level. All right, you become level 2. Try to get it, or time to get a new power. So train up. So I think right here, what we'll do, is this an AoE? Spin your, oh no, it's not. Okay, I'll give you, so spin your staff like a propeller in front of you, dealing smashing damage. Cool, and deflecting any income attacks, this boosting your melee and lethal defense briefly. Okay, so it's like parry with the sword, which is my other level 50. He's a broadsword shield scrapper. But I think I'll do Merciless Blow for now. It's okay. We're just going to go through this. This is a new power set for me, so why not? We can always respect in the future, so no problem. Cool. All right, away I go. All right, we've got a rocket pack, which I'll try not to use. You know what? I'm not going to use that. I want this to be a vanilla as possible. We need 333 more experience to level up. So away I go. Okay, so we'll actually go ahead and remove this from the tray because I don't want to be tempted with that. Like I said, a vanilla experience. I'm not a big fan of walk either, so I'll just remove that from my tray. go ahead and set this here. That's fine. Melee, melee, melee are ranged. Cool. Move that over. Put that there, and we'll move rest. So we'll put that back up here. Cool. All right. So we're all set. I think this is where I'll stop for now, and I'll just stay here with Ms. Liberty, and then we can move around. And as you can see, we have our first contact there, but we're here for story arcs, so we'll actually not go to Azura, and we'll talk to some other contacts that can give us some story arcs. But until next time, I am Quantum Striker, and this is City of Heroes.